shout out to Hoops Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoops Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon. Shout out to
Hoop
the
Jargon,
family.
man. Shout out.
What up, everybody? Your boy Hoop Jargon back in the building, man. Thank y'all for tuning in to the live, man. I just want to have an open discussion, man, about a few things going on with the world. I'm gonna have one of my partners hop in a little later. One half of our group that we have called the Wise Guys. It's gonna be some good building talk and just talking about where the world is right now. So I'm gonna read y'all comments live as we go, man. Let's just talk shop, man. So I'm gonna start doing these every Sunday if I got the time. We're going to call this Sunday Gumbo. We're just going to talk about whatever y'all want to speak about or whatever was hot going on in the streets, as they say. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, man, and holler at your boy, man. All right, we got a comment already off rip. That's what I'm talking about, baby. The Manimal says, salute Hoop Jargon. Hey, Kevin Samuels a real deal. He states hella facts about female nature. You know what? And that's actually what I'm going to lead in with. So that's you set the tone perfectly, my brother. So what Kevin Samuels has done, he's found a way to basically bring locker room talk into the consciousness of women. And because here's what happens usually in society, in my opinion. And I'm going to go over one of his, a little bit of one of his videos, and you'll kind of see what he does. This is a recent video. I know a lot of these, the average at best video cycles so much. And so I want to focus on his new content because if you've seen, like Kevin Samuels has been on YouTube for about 5 years, man. If you look at his oldest video, let me just say this, man. This man came a long way, man. I'm going to just put it that way. This man has come a long way. So, but what I was getting to is like he brings that energy that most men understand. And that energy is, listen, man, we're going to address the issue. We're going to address it head on. And let's take the buffers out. Let's address it as such. And I think a lot of women are not used to that style. Women are used to being coddled. Women are used to being uplifted, because most people who say they don't like his style, they say, well, you can be more uplifting. It's just your approach. This is how you saw. Kevin Samuels don't do that, man. Because here's a reality. Most people who know me in real life, they know I'm just like that. I like get to the goddamn point. What do you want? What result do you want? What actions are you taking to get there? And realistically, how does this look for success? And that's what Kevin Samuels does a really good job. And I'll tell you why I'm like that. It's because I'm a salesman. So my job at work is to get what we call the true objection. The true objection is getting to the real motivation that person went to the store. So that's what Kevin Samuels does with these women. And when he asks the questions, that's called qualifying. So he does a very astute job of pulling real information out. Because here's reality, guys. Most people, when they show up to you, they're not telling you everything they're about. They're not telling you all their motivations. They're not telling their intent. So you ask questions to pull those things out. And some people are better than others at pulling that information out. So that's what Kevin Samuels has done a really good job because nobody's really applied that sales tactic to talking to women. And a lot of women, they don't like it because what happened is sometimes they unknowingly admit things that they don't want to admit about themselves. And that's when it turns into a shit show, as it were, because that's something they even thought about with themselves. And that's why he preaches therapy, because we have a higher sense of self. You don't need some dude on YouTube telling you what to do. You understand what I'm saying? All right, let's see. Manimal says, as men, we brothers have to stay on our purpose and ignore these females that manipulate you, man. Hella females have played that game. Yeah, and I want to say this. Let me back up before we get going. I know for my Hoop Jargon patrons, on Sunday, I'm gonna just try to go more current events. Because I do, man, if anybody knows me in real life, these are things I talk about all the time. Like my girl, I'm sure she's tired of me talking about these things. That's all I ever do, man. Because I think about how the world works. I'm always thinking on a astute level, so like things just won't smack me in the face and I'm not ready for it. You understand what I'm saying? I always try to get ahead of it. So Sundays, I'm gonna try to dedicate to let's just talk shop, man. Let's just talk about things going on, and then people express their opinions. I'll give mine, and we'll move forward. So I am broadcasting this on 3 channels: on our Wise Guys channel with me and my boy Sammy, who's going to join the chat in a little bit, and I'm also on my Cliff Notes page. And so if y'all, I'll put the links of all 3 pages in here after we're done. And you can check out some of my content because what I'm doing now for my hoop jargon people, I do this all the time on those other 2 platforms. All right, so as men and brother, we gotta stay on our purpose, ignore the female. Yeah, so here's the thing, man. And then this is something I tell my girl. Number 1 comes me, number 2 comes my purpose, number 3 comes you. And here's why. Me, this unit don't work if I ain't here. So if I don't make the money I'll make, it don't work. My purpose is me having the mental space to lead. So if I don't have the mental space to lead and I'm just so enraptured with you, guess what happens? If I lose my job, you lose respect for me and our unit crumbles. So I always got to keep that purpose intact. And that is with a lot of males. I think they fail at this because they get so engulfed in what a female can bring to them. And you're not standing on your own too, as the old school would say, right? So when you don't have that going, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up to crumble. And so as much as you may love that woman, you got to understand infatuation and love is commitment. You have a duty to be there and provide, protect, all those things. You can't do that being in love. And not saying you can't be in love, but the kind of love that is like borderline idolatry, where you just every waking moment you're thinking about her. That sounds good. That's Disney shit. That's cool. But are you preparing your family to succeed? Are you preparing her to succeed? Because as much as that love shit is cool, you got to be thinking ahead. You got to think ahead. All right, let's see. 9 Days says the truth don't have a style. Hey, man, 2 + 2 = 4, man, no matter where you go in this world. Some people like to massage that message. Some people get straight to the point. And me personally, I like Kevin Samuel's style because I'm a straight to the point kind of fella. And that's just the long and short of it. All right, let's see. Women would chase the alpha, but put rules on the beta. Women will chase men that are on their purpose and emotionally unavailable. I noticed from my experience, women chase me when I'm not emotional. Yeah, because here's the thing, guys. I'm not saying emotions are not part of what you have. That is literally what makes us human. But when you lead with emotionality, women intrinsically think you're behaving just like them. They won't state it because they can't quite put their finger on what it is. In general, I'm not saying all my women aren't astute enough to get in front of it, but most women, they think emotionally. So when you match their emotion, they'll have fun with you. They'll have a great time with you. But when it's time to get serious, they'll pull this shit on you. Yeah, she'll be talking to her homegirl. It's just something about him. I think I can do better. Like, I just don't think we on the same page. And because at the end of the day, man, I'll put it like this. I used to be a school teacher for 4 years before I've been in sales. And I've been in sales for like 7. When I used to teach a class, no matter how bad the student, no matter how bad the kid, I had to set a boundary at the beginning, like a strong, stringent boundary, and then let my personality massage it through. What I mean by that is my kids hated me my first 2 days of school. They hated me. Like, I didn't play because I learned my first year, you can't play with them, man. You got to set standards and boundaries. So what I found was by week 1, they love me because I'm funny. Like, I come in there making jokes every day. I was a coach. I get away with cussing a little bit. They like teachers who cuss. So I could do that, but I had to set the standard from day 1 and day 2. I had so many kids that did not like me at first. Then they warmed up to me so much because I knew they would. You got to understand people's nature. And brothers, y'all got to do the same thing in any situation you're dealing with. When you understand a person's nature, you got to understand some people are just emotional as hell. So emotional people, I know how to deal with emotional people. Some people are very methodical. You can't come turned up to methodical people. Some people are whimsical. If they're whimsical, they are going to reject structure at every turn. So we got to start understanding these personality types so they don't blow up in our face when they go left. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to have a calculated sense of what a person brings to a situation, and that'll help you move more in a more upright, in a more fruitful fashion. Does that make sense? All right. So I do want to play this clip real quick, and then we'll go back into the comments, man. I appreciate y'all keeping these bad boys rolling. Appreciate everybody jumping on live, man. I think this discussion needs to happen, man, because it's just so many things going on in this world, and Kevin Samuels kind of has the world on fire because he's just taking a different approach, man. And like the brother 9 Days was saying, man, because everybody wants to preach prosperity. Everybody wants to preach, what's the word everybody likes to use now? What's that buzzword? uplifting, like I let in with. And the reality is that shit don't work, man. Shit don't work. That's why people call into this man's show looking for love advice. You understand what I'm saying? Because that massage, I mean, that strategy does not work. All right, with that being said, I'm going to let Kev talk now.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi.
What's your disagreement?
I disagree with the approach you take when it comes to enlightening women on what their problems are. I feel like your approach can be too harsh.
Okay, then don't come.
Well, not for me.
You know, that's, you know what I'm saying? This is funny because that's how I am at work, man. When people come with their excuses or they little sob stories, man, I'm like, man, get to the fucking point. Like, if you don't like it, or like, I mean, my deals with women before I got with my girl. Like, you don't like it, you don't have to be here. And really, people prefer to be dealt like this. It's just, I'm gonna just speak for her because I'm a psychoanalyze her a little bit. She's not used to being talking to like that. She's not used to being a cut and dry response. And most of us brothers in this chat, if you play sports, you understand this logic. Like, so think about when you ever challenge a coach. Like, man, we running too much, man. It's hard. Like, hey, man, you ain't got to be here. You hit the bricks. How many times I've seen coaches I put dudes out of practice. I'm like, nigga, you ain't got to be here. And I think a lot of women are not used to getting talked to. And here's why I say this. I was blessed enough to have watched Cynthia Cooper coach when I played basketball in college. Cynthia Cooper was the first female coach I've seen talk to ladies the same way a male coach would talk to theirs. Cynthia Cooper is ruthless, man. If y'all ever see, that's why she don't stay with coaching jobs. And I covered her about this time last year, man, on the channel. Y'all scroll back a year ago. I covered her, man. Cooper's intense, man. And so the way that Coop is, that's how most coaches are. It's like, if you ain't down with the program, why are you here? You can go home. And everybody, y'all can feel that, man. So let me keep it rolling. I'm gonna get to the comments. I appreciate y'all.
But I feel like
it's not going to change.
But don't you think when you?
I think you need to accept that it's not going to change.
Okay, well, you don't need to change it.
Women continue to come.
Yeah, I told y'all, women continue to come because at the end of the day, they're getting a discipline they never got before, or they haven't gotten since grade school. So intrinsically in their mind, they're like, damn, I don't agree with the message, but something about this, I got to keep listening. That's because you want discipline. And I'm not talking about like discipline, but I mean just cut and dry. It's this or that. You pick. And most women are used to navigating the space where they can just say and do anything and nobody can check them because everybody's so scared to get canceled and all this shit. Kevin Samuels just kind of reversed that. And that's what's going on right now.
Yeah, because they're probably obsessed with being mistreated.
No. Oh, there we go. Thank you. That's what I also mean. When you get right down to it, see, women understand something. Women like her think they know better than you. Women keep women single.
You know what? And this is something I never really delved into before I started watching this channel. A lot of women self-sabotage sometimes. I have experienced, I didn't know that women self-sabotage so much. So I learned this watching his channel. And it's true because a lot of women call in and say this testimony that older women sabotage them because intrinsically they want you to be single too. So they can, it's almost like it's a way to not feel bad about their bad choices, that you make a woman who is in reach, who's younger, be as miserable as you, because then y'all can have a pity party together and talk about how men ain't shit. That's an actual thing, because if you admit that you fucked up your life, it is an indictment on you to see your offspring do good. That means that's a direct indictment that you messed up. And some people are so messed up in the head that they don't want to see their offspring succeed, because it's an admittance that your whole life you fucked it up. It's a crazy psychosis, but it's true. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this and I get to the comments. I see you, J&J. What's up, girl?
You got all this shit sticking out your face like pinhead. You don't think somebody's obsessed with being mistreated.
This dude right here, man.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
So,
What's your disagreement?
my disagreement is just basically about the fact that Black women shouldn't have to feel obligated to smile to Black men. We're holding a lot of trauma. We're holding a lot of problems, mental health issues.
Hold on.
I already see where this going. So let me say this, guys. And this goes to men too. Now, here's where I'm going to lose some of y'all. I'm going to lose some of y'all on this premise that the world does not owe you understanding. So whatever traumas you may have, whatever situations you may have, they're yours. I've dated a girl who suffered sexual abuse before as a kid. And this was almost like, this 7 years ago. And I just would always say, man, I understand that. I've had a sibling of mine who went through the same. I know how traumatic that is. But what you're not going to do is use that as a crutch where you can just act out and do what you want to do. I'm not going. So apply that to what's going on here. And she's saying women shouldn't have to, because the premise of the show was like, basically Kevin was saying Black women are unruly and they don't want to even smile at you. Like asking for a smile is asking too much. So she's doubling down on that premise, saying that we go through all these traumas and all this. And with the UYP, what's up, homie? I'm gonna get to y'all comments. I see y'all doing y'all thing. I love and respect that y'all on here. But she's doubling down on that premise right now, right? And you gonna see how Kevin's gonna respond to it. But like basically, nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody cares about your reasons because people only judge you where you are. They don't, because so here's what that means. When you meet somebody, you don't have the luxury for they can review your whole life and know who you are. People judge you off what you present, and that's it. That's all the world owes you. They don't owe you anything beyond that, especially if they're not dealing with you on a sexual level, on a whatever level you want to attribute that to. You understand what I'm saying? So, all right, what's up, UYP Studio? Appreciate you, bro. All right, let's get back to the video.
Hold on. How old are you?
24.
I'm gonna say this one more time. I need you to pay attention. I need all Black women to pay attention. The world does not owe you understanding or me understanding. If you have all this trauma, go seek professional help because the rest of us do not have to suffer you.
Okay, it's easy to tell Black women and Black people in the Black community to get help.
Whose responsibility is it to get the help they need?
But it's not available readily to our community.
That is bullshit.
With the wealth gap growing, how many people
whose
can
responsibility is it to get the mental health they need? Who?
It is ultimately the responsibility of us to get the mental health that we need. But I'm letting you know that we are very underserved.
And so again, back to my coaching reference. How many times have you been late to practice? And coach is like, practice started at 10. Oh no, coach, but I had to catch the bus and then it was later. I was like, okay, practice started at 10 though. Why aren't you here at 9 then? Oh, well, it's hard because you don't understand what I gotta go. Hey man, have a seat. You ain't practicing. I've seen this so many times, man. I've seen this play out so many times in my life. And a lot of women, I would have, I know for a fact a lot of girls coaches don't do this because I coached girls 8th grade basketball when I was in 2013, 2012. And the head coach, she was so soft on them girls, man. Like them girls, like we be, I mean, if you play sports, you understand this. When coach is talking, everybody shut up because he's instructing you. Like she would be talking and the starters would be on the side just yucking it up and having a good. And then we have some good athletes, man. One of our starting point guard, actually, she runs track for University of Arkansas right I think Gianna is a senior, but Gianna was a main one who didn't like me at first. But I won over because I was fair. I was like the same way I'm with boys. I was like, Coach, Coach, stop talking. Hey, y'all shut up while Coach talking. And they who this dude? Who this dude to tell me to shut up? And I was like, they did it again to test me. I was like, Coach, Hey, y'all, all three of y'all take off right now. Run. I made them run laps. Because Coach, she didn't have it in them to stop them to talk because she was a misogynist there. You know, she didn't want to go too hard on them. I'm like, nah, fuck that, Coach. No. You talking, you play college basketball, they need to be fucking listening. You understand what I'm saying? So that is what Kevin Samuels is doing to these women who've never been told to be upright, who've never been held to a standard. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what we're seeing with this. And to them, it's new. This is a new approach because they've never been told no. They've never been told, oh, well, it'll be okay, baby. He's not going. You understand what I'm saying? So check. So let's look at it about a minute more, and then we'll just go into the comments. Appreciate y'all sticking through.
You can't make this stuff up. So you say we're underserved. You got to tell me that the therapists that already exist are overloaded. We don't go get help, man. Just had a therapist on here before. I talked to psychiatrists, and first of all, understand who you're talking to. I know hundreds of. Anyway, what do black people tend to deal with? How do black people tend? So
for everybody to say that Kevin Samuels is mean to the girl, you see how he was gonna go into a diatribe and he stopped because he understands that her level of understanding accountability is very low. So he's doing her solid by just, changing direction. So y'all gotta understand his soft skills. He understands how to assess a person, and he always says that what he does is reflective. He's not gonna just be, like how Jay-Z say, beat the ant with a sledgehammer. He's not gonna do that to her because he understands that she has a very low level of accountability comprehension. So he's gonna try to break it down in a way that she can understand.
Black women tend to deal with their mental health issues with a licensed clinician or with Jesus.
That is what's pushed to us since
no.
the HIV.
Excuses. That's what she's used to. He asking the direct question and she's diverting with an excuse.
No, man. I asked who. You see, I asked who they see. We're not gonna play. I'm not gonna play the lily pad game. Did they go to a clinician or did they go to the church?
The church most often.
All right, and these are educated. Most of these women are educated, and they've heard about therapy. They make the choice not to go. No different than I'm gonna switch it up. No different than women understanding here that being 200 pounds at 5 foot tall is unhealthy. But yet 80% of our women are overweight and 80% of that is obese. They know the truth. They choose to do something else.
The narrative pushed to us most often is that a guy wants a woman with a big ass. He wants,
So further showing of the disconnect, this man said height and weight. And she's associating that with having a fat ass. So it just shows you, though, I know this is silly, but there are women who walk around who just, you can say something directly, way over the head. They didn't hear nothing. They probably heard 5% of what you said. She heard overweight and she went associated to having a fat ass. That makes no sense, man.
A thick lady.
Accountability is kryptonite to modern women.
There you go.
Man, you say the traumas, if I accept them, then you got to do something about them. Because what about the traumas that the black man has to deal with? But we still have to get out here and be functioning people in society, contributing. You don't get to walk around and say, have a special victim status.
I'm not saying we should.
And man, and I'm gonna make this, plain. I had to learn this life lesson as a kid, man. So I grew up in the hood, right? And it was to a point where like kids used to take my shit. And my mom and pops made me just like, yo, I'm not buying you another one. So I had to learn to start asserting myself more because I was all about just everybody should be fun and everybody should be friends. I had to learn real quick, that's not the world. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to go through that moment of just, to be frank, being a little hoe, to learning how the world works. And this is her come to Jesus moment, as it were, that you got to learn that nobody gives a shit about your trauma. Most people in a given day, you meet 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people. So you just one person in the cogwheel that is the world. Who gives a shit about your intricacies and all your storyline and all that? Who gives a shit? And that's what Kevin's saying, just trying to, convey to her, bro.
We should have a special victim status, but our circumstance is different. We are women.
Is your
we are less
you're 24 years old. Is your circumstance harder or easier than your grandmother and your great grandmother?
Exponentially easier. We have access.
All right, conversation over right there. she killed the argument. She killed the whole premise. She killed the whole premise. You just admitted your situation is exponentially easier than your grandmother. So what you bitching about? All right, so let me get these comments. I really appreciate y'all keeping it active in these streets. All right, my man Manimal says logic over emotion, my man. I remember I had toxic friends in the past. I cut off and took advantage of me, talk shit behind my back. People can really take advantage of you emotionally. Yeah, of course. Man, we've seen this since the playground days. And so it's funny, like in real life, things don't get too far away from the playground life. They run pretty concurrently as far as the overall ideology of what the world is. You know what I'm saying? That's not a very it's prophecy you learn at 5 years old. Yeah. So what I learned was, man, I more or less distance myself. If people present themselves to be flighty or just see, I don't use the word toxic like that. It's not really my lexicon, but just if you are combative and shit like that, I just don't really want nothing to do with you, man. I'm not a big, I don't deal with people like that because here's what happens. After a while, they are so drawn up in emotion that they turn on you. And I'm dealing with I have a friend who had a friend he deals with like that, who is, and we're keeping names out this live, who's had his life threatened within the last week. And I'm just like, you got to scope them kind of people out because again, they're passionate, they cool, they ride or dies, but the same person when you're doing wrong or they perceive being done wrong, they'll flip on you. They'll flip on you real hard. You understand what I'm saying? I talked about it in this live with Sammy the other day. Man, I used to ride with a guy and I put his name out there because this is public record. He was on First 48. His name is William Langram, PJ as we called him. He played basketball with Chris Bosh at Dallas Lincoln High School when they won the championship in 2002. I used to ride around with that dude, man. That was my road dog when I lived in Dallas the first time. I was like 19, 20. And I got nothing bad to say about PJ, but he turned out he's a killer. He literally killed a man. So you just never know what people are about. But I know he had that personality type in him. So when I heard the news about that happening, it was a big thing in the Dallas morning news. Probably about 10 years ago. No. Maybe about 10 years ago, somewhere around there. It didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me because I look at it like this, and not picking on PJ, but when I see that personality type now, a 37-year-old man, I don't deal with people like that. Because what happens when you perceive I did you wrong? So, all right. Man, a lot of my friends up in the past were talking shit behind my back. After high school, I cut them off. They still hit me up here and there, but I ignore. People fake these days. Well, I'll tell you what, man. People are going to be what you perceive as fake to your dying day. You understand what I'm saying? Because people have different ideologies. People have different outlooks, different allegiances, however you want to shake that out. And what happens is in that space, former ties, former allegiances, they kind of intersect or whatever. So, and then things get open to interpretation. And that's where fakeness comes from. So you feel like, because you can feel like somebody should do whatever you think they should do. But unless you address them and ask for clarity, you just don't know. It's just all over the place. And so it's off of perception. And so that can be interpreted as disloyalness, fake, whatever. But you just learn to rock with like-minded people, man. And you just leave it where it is. I mean, I'm a salesman. I work with a lot of salesmen I do not like. I work with regional presidents that I do not like. But when hoop jog and step and work, man, I'm gonna do work, man. I'm out here in Los Angeles, took a step on faith, and I'm out here killing it, man. And that's why I'm not on YouTube as frequently, but I'm trying to change that, guys. I'm trying to get on here more, but it's like you gotta learn how to navigate amongst all personality types because they're always gonna be there. That's infallibly so. All right, let's see. J and J says, check this out. It's funny. I'm right in the middle of typing. I'm just like you when it comes to dealing with people. I ran a sales team, a long distance company. Yeah, man. You got to be built the right way if you're gonna be doing sales, because it is not for the faint of heart, man. It's not for the faint. It's not for the faint of heart, man. So that's what Kevin Samuels does with these young ladies. It's like you learn how cutthroat that world is. And to a lot of them, they've never been talked to that way. So that's why I say it's just your approach. It's like, so you clearly have not had a high performing job, because you can do all these accolades. You can be highly esteemed and you got a bad month. They're going to talk to you like you a dog. They're going to talk to you like you trash. And you got to be able to deal with it and move forward. And I would encourage anybody who don't understand this mentality, go watch Wolf of Wall Street. Great movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. So will give you an opportunity to understand that how that world works. Now it's a little bit inflated, but that's how it is, man. You eat what you kill, man. And there's no feelings involved, man. It's just business. I'd also agree with the concept of bringing the bitch out first and soften up, because if you don't do that, then you get no respect off the top. Hey, man, you don't get respect. And I don't care what people say in the open market, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. I don't care what they say. People like for you to be upfront about what you are and what you're about, especially as it pertains to a relationship. And I got a coworker now. He's struggling with this shit. He's a younger dude, about 23. I'm like, bro, the way you're moving, you're not asserting anything. So you got to understand, you're going to go through these flighty years before you really figure out what you're about, because he's 23, making really good money. He just does not know how to date correctly. Falling in love too quick. I'm like, bro, nah, that ain't the move, dog. You got to set boundaries, man, and establish order, man, or you're going to be all over the place, man. All right, let's see. You got to accept responsibility for who you are. You can't blame your parents. You can't blame the past relationship. You got to live in the now and realize you have to keep moving. Absolutely. Absolutely. J&J, you nailed it. Because again, I know it's off-putting. I know it sucks to hear, but nobody owes you understanding. You feel me? Nobody owes you understanding. They don't owe you shit. I know you feel like they should consider that. I understand the concept. But in real life, nobody owes you a damn thing, man. And that's why, again, I tell you, with protesting and all that shit, nobody owes you equality. Because if to give you equality, they acquiesce some of their perceived power. And that's not how humans work in general. That's not how humans work. Let's see. J&J says The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle is one of my favorite books. And I breathe that philosophy. Man, I'm going to check that out. I appreciate you putting me on game with that. Because I'm always about, man, I always want to get the psychological, I ain't gonna say advantage, but just understanding of people. I've always had a thirst to like understand, why do people do what they do? Because I mean, Sammy ain't joined the chat yet, but what we do on our channel is we just try to figure out like why people do what they do, and let's try to find a solution. Now, more so him than me, I'm more like people are who they are. I can't undo 20 plus, 30 plus, 50 plus years of programming. I can't undo that in a YouTube stream. You understand what I'm saying? But what I can do is tell you or assert to think a different way to get different results. I'm all for that. But I'm not going to be a bleeding heart for your situation, because you are who you are, man. You are who you are. All right, let's see. J give me the laugh emoji. All right. 9 Days of Victory says, with women, you have to be crazy, firm, and unapologetic. I'll take the crazy part out. I don't believe in being crazy. I believe that you should be genuine. You should be forthright. State what you are about, and you move like that. And she don't like it, guess what? Take a hike. Because here's the thing, man. I learned this about 10 years ago. In my opinion, no woman's worth having if you don't have it the right way or your way. And your way, and it has to be righteous. Now, by righteous, I don't mean biblical. I mean you having good faith in this situation, like want the best for y'all. So basically meaning, if you got to beg a woman to be with you and all this shit, you don't have that leverage. You don't have that control. Like what I talked about leading in being a teacher. So if and I'm not saying women are kids per se, but I'm saying the nature is similar in the sense that they expect you to lead, man. I don't care what any alpha male says. They expect you to step up. So if you understand that, you understand how to deal with women. And I agree with the firm and all apologetic. You got to be that, especially at work, which is funny. The same people who don't do this in relationships do this at work for the most part, especially high performing people. But they'll go and acquiesce to this beta programming when they deal with the women they deal with. It's just like, bro, you got to be the same way you are. As a matter of fact, yeah, my coworker, young, he gonna be really good. I was like, dude, you need to deal with your dating life the same way you deal with sales. Same way. So you this strict, hardcore salesman, but when you deal with your love life, you soft. I like that. That don't make sense. Most salesmen I teach, I'm like, bro, the way you make a sale is the same way you get a date, get a kiss, get the, invitation to get some cutty or whatever. It's the same thing. It's a psychological thing. It's when you permeate over somebody's brain, and then you assert yourself and you get the results from it. And that's what sales is about, man. So I always teach people, man, life is reflective, man. It's almost like when art imitates life. It's all the same thing, man. It's all the same thing. It's not necessarily the exact same thing, but it is a derivative of the same notion, the same ideology, as it were. J&J says we got that movie. We got to check it out. I forgot what movie I said. What movie I say, J&J? See, you would thoroughly enjoy that. But yeah, I'm gonna check that out, man. I'm gonna go back in the replay. I'm definitely gonna check that out. That's definitely something. Well, I know you on the same plane of thought as me, so I trust your oversight with something like that. So I want to do another. Well, I'll do dealer's choice. We can hop into the police brutality discussion, or we can do some more Kevin Samuels. So y'all tell me which one of y'all rather do. Oh yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great movie, especially if you in sales or want to like boost your personal brand in any capacity. That's a great movie to look at, man. Thank me later. All right, so yeah. So what y'all want to do? Y'all want to do more Kevin Samuels, or y'all want to do? Let's talk about police brutality and stuff like that. Let me know what you want to do. What you want to do, or I'm just gonna do what I want to do. And that's what it's gonna be. And I want to say this, man. One of the cats that got me into, I guess, this manosphere space was Patrice O'Neal, man. A lot of guys in the manosphere give Patrice O'Neal a lot of credit. And if you don't know who he is, he's a comedian who died about 10 years ago. And man, any friend of mine who knows me in real life, I was real big on Patrice O'Neal while he was alive. Like, I was like, this dude is the funniest dude in the world, man. This dude's the funniest dude. Patrice was always my favorite comedian, but he wasn't the most popular, like, not at all. So if y'all remember like the Dave Chappelle skit, the Player Haters Ball, he was a fat dude with the purple suit on. Not Buck Nasty. Pitbull, Earth. That was him. That was Patrice O'Neal. He was on The Office. He was a fat black dude, and he done like a lot of things. Web Junk on VH1. He used to do, but I always thought like this dude is hilarious, man. Like, and he never really got like his due. But it's funny. 10 years after death, everybody likes to quote him now, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel a certain type of way because that dude he was prophetic with stuff he had to say. Like he just had an outlook, and he had an unapologetic nature about life that nobody had 10 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? 15 years ago when he was putting all this content out. And if you go on YouTube and check him out, he got so much content from him being on the Opie and Anthony show and what have you. And he had this thing called Black Phillip, and he was just basically like the Black Dr. Phil. And he just was so contrite of what he said. He was to the point. And he is basically what you see now with the Black manosphere. He's a godfather of it. And I'm happy to have been influenced by him a long time ago. You understand what I'm saying? So I do like the fact that Patrice O'Neal is getting his shine. So let me do another Kevin Samuels video, and I want y'all to get y'all's commentary on that. All right, let's see. Kevin Samuels. I got to think of some of his straight to the point videos for the, I want to get. Okay, yeah, this is a good one. That same live, he actually talked to a therapist, and I've never seen.
Hi, Kevin.
I'm gonna be real with y'all. This therapist was getting that work, man. She was getting that work. She was getting that work, man. She a clinical therapist, man. She was getting that work, man. All right, let's see who jogging. Do you know Lolo Jones, the track runner? Her dating standards are crazy. No man wants to date her. Yes. 39 over. Yes. Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, and that is a perfect example of you price yourself out the dating market. And a lot of women don't want to accept that fame, notoriety, money. That does not mean shit for you being pair bonded with a man. Because a man understands that your resources are not my resources. Most men understand if the family fails, it's my fault. It ain't your fault. Because you go to court, we divorce, you get half the money no matter what. You get the kids no matter what. So most dudes understand this and we accept that. I think a lot of girls on this crybaby shit because you never been forced to think that way. You never been forced to understand that everything rides on you. And if it don't succeed, you're a bum. You're a loser. You're scum. And girls not used to being handled that way. Girls are not used to being handled that way. Yeah, and like the man of say 39 with virgin. That I mean, I'm not saying sexual promiscuity is a good thing, but what I am saying is eventually you're going to come off them cheeks, man. Ain't nobody trying to wait around for that 40-year-old virgin coochie, man. Come on, man. I mean, more power to her. That's what she believe. That's cool. And what I would ask her though, how's that working for you though? You find your virtuous man yet? You found your Boaz yet? You find your Boaz, you ain't giving up no ass. So, and Kevin Samuels says about women like these, buy a dog, die alone. That's it. I hate to say it, my mother, that's going to be her story. They got a dog at the crib now. She's going to die by herself. My pops, he remarried 15 years ago. He in a fruitful marriage with his wife now. 15 years. You understand what I'm saying? So it's up to you. It's up to you. And I'm more closer to my mom than my pops, but shit, the reality is reality. Hoop jargon's biases don't bring my mother a man. She got a dog, she's gonna die alone. That's it. That's why I guess when Kevin Samuels said that, it resonated with me to my core, because that's literally my mother's situation. And my mother's a lovely woman. She's caring. She's very she looks out after people. She puts other people first and all this shit. Cool. But she ain't been married since 1996. The world changed since 1996. You understand what I'm saying? Her body's changed since 1996. And that's where reality exists, man. Much love for my mother. Much love and respect for my mother. But reality is where reality is, whether I love or respect you or not. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I find a lot of validity with Kevin Samuels says, because a lot of our women die alone. That's just facts. 1 out of 4 of our women were married. And when marriages do happen in this country, 80% of the time the woman leaves. She filed for divorce with my pops for infidelity. You know what I'm saying? And Kevin Samuels addressed that on his channel too. It's like you got to understand, you got to deal with some shit. If you say you want to be married and pair bonded with somebody, some shit you just got to deal with. Because when you look at our grandparents, they had fuck shit going on, but they stayed together. But we prop that up as like a perfect relationship. When you look at, if you really with a fine tooth comb look through that relationship, there's some fuck shit going on. You understand what I'm saying? But they understand that they understood the benefit of having a strong family unit, and they stuck it out. Even they be in separate rooms at some point, but they stuck it out. These days, everybody want instant gratification. They want agape love, to love me like Christ loved the church. It's a cool story. They want Cinderella love. They want Beauty and the Beast love. Cool story. It's not reality, man. Lolo says she about to give up on man. She should have been did that, man. You 40, man. Shoot. Them little, I don't want to say the word I want to say, but the ladies who like ladies, Shit, you getting too old for them. Unless you want you a butch. Let me stop. All right, so I'm gonna play a little bit of this video with him talking to this therapist while I go re-up real quick. Uh-oh.
Hi, what's your disagreement?
I don't think I'm doing share screen. My bad. I gotta get my graphics team on. Okay, here we go. Should women accept DL men? To me, that's crossing the line. No, you shouldn't accept that. No. Here's my thing to that comment. Those are extreme cases, man. And what I do find funny too is like a lot of modern women like to what's what I'm looking for? They like to align with gay dudes, but then when it's time to, basically critique heterosexual men, they'll assert you DL, you're gay. And I just find it rich because most modern women align with those type of dudes and they affirm shit that they do. But when they deal with when they step outside of idealism and hop back into realism, that same ilk of men is used to demean men that you actually want to deal with. I find that dynamic pretty funny, man. I really do. But no, should you accept the down low man? No, you should not. No, not at all. Now I would say this too. A lot of y'all modern women too. Y'all dabble too though. At a way higher clip, and y'all are very outward with it. I mentioned that girl I used to deal with about 7 years ago. She used to fuck with women, and I found that very unattractive. I ain't gonna lie to you. Now, if a good time, I'm down with that. But a girl I'm gonna take serious, nah, I don't want no part of that. So I say, TB, you got that same standard to uphold with somebody that you want to deal with. Or I'm assuming you're a woman, TB, but if you're not, I'm sorry. But no, you shouldn't have to deal with that. All right, so I'm gonna play this video about him talking to this therapist. And you're gonna see, like, even a clinical therapist is so far drawn into delusion that she won't even accept her own bullshit.
So my disagreement is that Black women's behavior is not put into context. So there's the acting out, but it lacks context. I feel like it's misguided self-expression. And it's a problem, but it is something that when you remove the experiences that we have.
Hold on.
Okay.
So why can Black women act right at work?
That's fair. But I will say this:
No, you didn't answer. You said it's fair. Why can they do that?
Okay. Code switching. W.E. Du Bois. It's something that we're able to do in different circumstances.
Not code switching. That's not code switching.
Okay.
There's a consequence. They act that way at work, they lose their job, they lose their money. True or false?
That's true. Can't argue with that.
So don't tell me about context.
And so here's the thing y'all gotta be on your square about. A lot of modern, liberal, whatever you want to say, principles, it's almost like you never want to own shit as far as owning responsibility. What you do is you jump from deflection to deflection to deflection to try to explain things but not own it. And Kevin Samuels does a really good job of just honing in on, no, you can mention W.B. Du Bois all you want to. Code switching is more like you navigating the space with like being Black and talking white and whatever. That's more what code switching is. So she's trying to use that premise to excuse behavior, and Kev is like, nah, I ain't going.
If you can control it at work, that means you can control it elsewhere. True or false?
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, the only
that is true.
How much you respect their situations.
Mm-hmm.
See, what you just proven that Black women can respect their environment, work environment, their paycheck, but they don't have that same level of respect when dealing with Black men.
So here's what I'd like to say. The sister who came on earlier, I wanted to.
But let's acknowledge
that.
But before you do that, let's acknowledge that that's accurate.
Yes.
Or disagree. Which one is it? Is it accurate or you disagree?
Okay, so it is accurate, but again, there's context.
Yeah, the
I
context.
feel like
You
it's
don't
kind
have
of
you got more respect for your job than you do the average black man. That's the context.
Hmm.
We understand it. You don't have any respect. You know how to act when you respect somebody. When something's on the line, when there's a consequence. But there's nothing on the line with a black man because most black women have lack of respect for black men. They can talk any kind of way.
What I tell y'all about establishing respect, establishing order. If you don't do that now, to black women's credit, a lot of black men, you're not doing this, man. So you can't blame our women for not following you like you're asking if you're not presenting that type of situation. If you're not presenting that type of leadership, you can't get mad when they're not following you, bro. You can't get mad, man.
That's the context.
Okay. When you say it like that, you know, I feel like you're boiling it down in a real simplistic way.
Yeah, because it's very.
Because that's how the world works in simplistic fashion, not context. And now context is important, but when you're using context as a way to conflate general principle, that's where you are doing a disservice to people moving forward. You got to be able to understand, yeah, nuance exists, context exists. I get it. But you have to understand that this is simplicity is how usually men think, and men run the world. Do we all understand that? Okay, we understand that. So you have to live in that realm, not this, you know, I call it spider monkey when it's all over the goddamn place. Just feelings, chaos, all that shit. No, that's not how the world operates. And the people who tend to work in that fashion tend to be the people who are what we would call the have-nots of society. So Kev understands that, no. Let's break this down to terms that's simple, easy to understand, easy to follow. And so even her being a therapist, she's struggling with that, and which is scary that she's in control of teaching other women. I'm sure black women is probably the biggest part of her practice, how to deal with things. And she herself struggles with real life, tangible tenets and components of life. That's scary as shit to me, man.
In the work environment.
Because it's very simple. Because it's very simple. Black women know how to act. Always have. It's just you have gotten to such a point where you don't give a shit about what you're reflecting.
All right, I want to address this comment. This is a good one. TB says, some women can't control their work either. Ask any manager, HR, and white collar world, from disrespect to seniority to literal fist fights in the office. You know what? And I want to find that Patrice O'Neal clip about black women in the office. So now there are those cases. I agree with that. But for the most part, most women know to not compromise where your bread is buttered, as it speaks. But yeah, now that does occur too. I've seen that. I'm gonna find that Patrice O'Neal clip. I think that's a very good point, brother.
So because you don't have to respect it. There's no consequence when you deal with a black man. Go back 3 calls when this woman's just complaining about smiling.
Right.
So I'm boiling it down, make it simplistic. Go ahead, tell us why it's such. Let me say something too before you do this. Remember when I said everything's variable, guys? Everything's variable is always subjective. The counter to that is either subjective or variable, or it's extremely complex. It's differential equations. It's calculation. It's calculating in force space. And if we were more intelligent, we could understand the complexities. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to respond to that, sister. When I've had that experience as well at different points in my life where black men are like, hey, you should smile, miss. And when I think about it, sometimes you are just in deep thought, and truly, and with the context, the other women in other races, maybe they don't have to tell them to do that because they're not carrying the grief that we're carrying around. Like, we're mourning for our brothers in the community, like legit.
No.
Hey, and that's more of that excuse making shit. And Kev gets ahead of that. That's more of that excuse making shit. You carrying traumas. What does that have to do with how you are to the outward world? And the answer is nothing. That's nothing to do. Everybody goes through something. So you saying every victim of trauma has the right to go out and be unpleasant in public? That's bullshit. And I'm glad he's hopping on that.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No, ma'am, no. Your morning. You cause black men more grief than the.
I gotta say this before Kev goes to this next part. I gotta say this. That is more, again, y'all follow me. Don't lose me. That is more disingenuous, liberal, modern black woman talk. We're mourning our brothers. What she say? We're mourning our brothers' traumas, and that's what we carrying around. That is fucking bullshit. That is psychobabble bullshit. Because listen, man. Listen good. And I told y'all my stance on Black Lives Matter. I don't fuck with it. And here's why. To me, Black Lives Matter is a Trojan horse. And don't take nothing Hoop Jargon say as gospel. Go to Black Lives Matter website when you leave this live, or do it right now if you can go to another tab. Go look up the manifesto for Black Lives Matter. It is what you call a Trojan horse. It starts off talking about, all the trigger points, Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, and cop killings and blah, 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 blah. There's a picture, and then it talks about what the real manifesto is. And it is promoting feminism, transgenderism, queer affirming, all that shit. And one thing they don't mention is heterosexual black men being leaders, being parents. And if you don't believe me, read the shit yourself. They have not changed it in 5 years. They have not changed it. So to me, that's a Trojan horse argument she's using. We're mourning our brothers. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because here's the thing. Black women, they live in a thing what we call a double minority. A double minority means you're a woman and you're black. So a lot of black women, not all my sisters on this channel, but a lot of black women, they live in a space where you can play, but you can basically, what they say, serve two masters. You can serve the feminine aspect, feminist aspect, which is the greater part, and then you can be black when you want to. Most women ebb towards feminism more than just being black, because ultimately they want to leapfrog males in black society. And I always ask people all this time, man, if we want to fix things, we want to have change, we want to have all this, we want to have all that. Name me a society where women preside over men. I'll wait. It don't happen. It does not exist. So, but we are the one faction of people who think we're going to change how the world has worked from kingdom come to now. You understand what I'm saying? So we gotta understand what's going on, because that's how we're gonna fix what's going on. We gotta understand what the problem is as a whole. So I'm sure Kev is about to do this the right way, but I do want to point out where that conversation just went.
The LAPD, system of white supremacy, or any of this other shit. Mourn your brothers for what you do to us, not the system. Sorry, man, but I've heard that. Y'all get up on this high horse like,
excuse me.
Before we got to deal with the system of white supremacy, we got to deal with what lays beside us.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
I never thought of it that way, Kevin. Now I gotta give Kev props, man. He has a keen ability to break things down to its rawest form, man. That's a skill, man.
I just feel like there is a level of deep concentration that sometimes we're in that impacts. I mean, it just does. It disproportionately impacts our.
I think Rap God. Now, I want to know exactly what you mean by that, and I'm addressing. So when you say you don't love his body language, what do you mean by that? And I'm gonna go forward. I want to get your opinion on that, brother. Let's see. Try being a LGBT black female that's married to a white female. Well, one of the leaders, founders of Black Lives Matter is that. So, Jan, I don't know if that's what you insinuating you are, and that's fine. I'm not against lifestyle choices of people. I'm just more about explaining things for what they are, and not masking what masking what something is and what you're really trying to push. Because at the end of the day, and you see it infallibly, men run society. So when we try to turn the society up on its head, it's not happening. And that's why we can be honest in this conversation. Black people, we in last place. And it's not because of lack of ambition, it's not because of lack of talent. We all understand that. Not because we're not smart enough. Just ideologically, we all over the place. We have no order. We have no culture. And I think that's affecting us on a granular level. And we see it. We're still asking the same things of society that we asked in the 60s. Okay, you said low vibrational energy. You got to come on, bro. You got to come out of 2015. Like that's the Hotep talk, man. Give me what you really mean. Then I can address it. I think Kevin Samuels also trying to build off his alt-right following, so we can't follow him blindly. Well, I don't know about all that, but I will say you don't follow anybody blindly. Nobody. Hoop jargon, shit. Kevin Samuels, Joe Rogan, who are the big YouTubers? Abba and Preach. You don't follow anything like that. You always use your brain to understand it's good information, right? But you gotta apply that to what's righteous, what's real, what's cogent, what's smart. So yeah, that's from the premise standpoint, yeah, you're absolutely right. You don't follow anything blindly, especially on YouTube. You kidding me? You gotta apply good things. You take it in, you assess it, and you move forward with a smart answer. Yeah. Now with the alt-right, you're going to explain that part to me. I never heard that before. So explain the alt-right part. My mother told me my middle name was controversial. You're a little ball of chaos, J&J. No, and man, I tell it to my girl all the time, man. And my girl doesn't talk a lot. She's not a big orator, as it were. But I'm like, I'm not with you because you this sassy black woman. So she's black and Japanese or whatever. So she's like, she has the traits of, a black woman. You see her, she looks like a light-skinned black woman, but you look a little close. She looks like she's Asian too. But she is 3/4 black, quarter Asian, and she went to Spelman and shit. So she understands the black experience. She doesn't have much to say. And you know me, I talk a lot. I got a lot to say. I was like, I'm not with you because you're this great conversationalist. You're this great galvanizer. I'm with you because you bring peace. When we together, we've had half an argument in about 7 months. Half an argument. Not even close. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what most dudes who are high earners, which I do well for myself, make over 6 figures. I don't look for another bull in the pen, as it were, when I come home. I'm not here to debate. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to jockey for a position when I get home. And that's what she is. I mean, she don't live with me, but she lives out in Pasadena. I'm out here in basically East LA. But when we hang together, like I don't have that problems. I'm like, because I sought you out for who you are. And that's what most dudes who earn good money. Because I mean, let's peel it back. Black men there are 8% of black men who earn 6 figures or more. So it's rare to be a high earner in this world. Being a black man, well, I'm not even gonna play that game. 10% of men in general are 10% earners. So 1 out of 10 people you see make 6 figures or more. So it's not something that is common. You understand what I'm saying? And when you work your way up to do that, there's certain things you want to deal with. You understand what I'm saying? Let's see. I'm not good at articulating my thoughts, just straightforward. I mean, that's fair, man. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, bro. I just want to seek understanding, man. So, I'll say it this way. Kevin Samuels to me is a very effeminate dude. And I think there's a difference between gay and effeminate. So I don't know if that's what you're touching on, but he is a dude that still fun because he's raised by, if you know his story, he's raised by his mother. So I understand why he is the way he is because you mimic who you're raised by. You understand what I'm saying? But in the same breath, what he's saying is cogent. It's true. I know. I went to college just like how he did. So when he speaks about his college days, I know he know what went on in college. I know that. He speaks about how it is. If you got the juice, you know, you can get them broads in college. Like we all understand that. So that's what Kevin Samuels is speaking from. I think he said in one semester he took down 34 chicks. Now I ain't never got that bad, but I know you can do that. For sure you can do that. If you got clout, because he's a Kappa. So I'm an alpha, you know, shit, my tat, A5A all day. I know when you got the juice like that, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I just happened to be an athlete when I was an undergrad and I played, basketball. So I just had a girl. So I just was, I ain't gonna say I ain't slip up from time or two, but I wasn't out there trying to just, set no records or whatever. that wasn't my game. You know what I'm saying? That I left that to the Playboy to do all that. And I do know, but I understand vividly that most Kappas, they invigorate that sexual aspect in women because they the quote unquote pretty boys. They do a little shimmy and shit, and most women find that very alluring, especially in that time and space in their life. That's what they do. All right, see, I think American Black women have the unfortunate burden of being the brains of the ops. While our men are trying to be rappers, gangsters, and athletes, Nigerian boys are studying to be engineers. Yeah, you know what? I say this a lot, man. When I talk to my friends, man, we Black people we're topsy turvy, man. And I'm not even say they being the brains of the ops. What's happening is these women who going out getting these degrees, they're only being weaponized by white dudes, man. They're not going out and changing the world because women don't change the world, man. It's never happened. It's never happened. I'm not trying to sound sexist. I mean, if you say I'm sexist, no problem. But you tell me why I'm wrong with this. What women are doing is they're going to get an education, and they're working menial jobs. They're working regular jobs. The average black man earns 41K. Average black woman earns like 34 or something like that on average. So you go and get all this education, but it's not translating to lucrative business opportunities. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to understand. We got to understand what's really going on. We got to stop. We got to stop playing. We got to stop playing games with this because our community is at stake. So we can lie to ourselves all the time, and then to the sake about the Nigerians, that's why a lot of Nigerians don't really deal with us like that. It's like we look the same, but we ain't the same people. They got a culture, and they're very stringent with their culture. They don't deal with these imbalances that we have in our household. They know how that hierarchy goes. Most people, you got a Nigerian friend, and as we know them to be, they're cocky. And us as, we call American Blacks, we don't really love that. You know what I'm saying? And when I was young, I used to hate it because they used to call us akatas is what they call us. You know what I'm saying? But I as I'm older, I understand because it's like we're the same, but we're not. They live by a code. We live by free for all society. Do as thou wilt, Alistair Crowley mentality. So, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So we got to understand this. I love the fact you brought up, Nigerians, because they move differently, man. They really do. It's like they fuck with us, but at the same time, they don't fuck with us. And y'all got to understand that. And it's for a reason because they live by a code. We have a free for all society. And the reason why that's cogent is because when you have a code, you basically have limits that you don't push. On some shit you just don't do. You just don't do. Because you understand that there's consequences. But if you understand that if you don't have the understanding there's consequences, you'll do whatever you feel in whatever moment. And I think that's where like African brothers don't trust black people in that space. And to be honest, I don't blame them. See, RGR, so I'm glad you explained that to me. My brain was turning. And you basically said it means most people are not elevated thinkers. That's why low vibrational energy is what they're caught up in. Yeah. So, and that's a great point. So one thing people who know me is I very seldom deal in low-hanging fruit. I just don't think that is a real thing to be dealing with low-hanging fruit. I just think it's a waste of your time, man. Because here's what happens with low-hanging fruit. I fancy myself as a thinker for a long time in life. Like, in real life, I'm a tall dude, 6'7", 240. but I wasn't always a big dude. So I've been a thinker forever. I used to be an artist before I got like really serious about basketball, right? So I just can remember my teammates in basketball from middle school, high school, whatever. These dudes weren't that smart, man. Or just like the populace that I dealt with in general. They weren't very smart. So I look at like how people address issues this day, and I remember how you were in school. I was like, nah, you're not a thinker like that. You're a reactor. So that the fact that I am a thinker, I champion myself of thinking on an elevated plane. I try not to delve into low-hanging fruit because the people who I told you who I was in my orbit, they love that shit. They can dogpile on it. They can give anecdotal evidence to low-hanging fruit, and their hooves are stuck in the mud on that. I don't deal in that because all people generally do in that on that level is use lived experience as the overarching truth in that. And I just don't do it because you're thinking at a very low clip, in my opinion. So I'm with that. Rap God says J&J video salute. Yeah, man, J&J put that work in, man, for real. All right, TB says, to answer your question about the alt-right statement, I seen him gaining a lot of popularity, a lot of conservative alt-right YouTubes and platforms. Well, let me tell you this. Most alt-right, they jump on anything that is anti-liberal. So anti-liberal is basically anti-excuse making. So you'll never see them on a Steve Harvey post. You see them on Kevin Samuels because he's talking on the affirmative, like stop making excuses. Candace Owens kind of aligns herself with the Republican spirit, so I can see how that's a natural movement. Tommy Sotomayor is another one. Tommy Sotomayor is a piece of work, man, but that faction likes to use his stuff too. So basically, anything that's Black accountability, they're going to ebb towards it because it gives them validity for their movement. And I refer back to my video I did damn near 2 weeks ago with this racist white dude on my shit calling me a monkey and all that shit, gorilla. You can't be so triggered by alt-right that changes your understanding of what truth is. Because what those factions try to do is asserting that hard truth is fundamental to their principle. Like they own that. And we got to disavow this notion that being honest to people is meaning that you're being Republican, you're being conservative, you're being alt-right. No. That's just truth. Truth is truth. So when you stop letting alt-right people control how you view your personal understanding of life, of what we know it to be, then that shit won't mean nothing to you. Because, you know what I mean, I get your point now. I'm glad you clarified it. But I don't give a shit what alt-right people think, because all they're going to do is manipulate what they perceive benefits their argument, and they're gonna propagate it. So what? I don't look at nothing they put out. So you can't get triggered that Kevin Samuels is a beacon of truth because he gets on Black women's ass. He does. And before that, he got on Black dudes' ass like a year or so ago. Look at his older videos. He was getting on dudes' ass, like a lot of socially awkward, what would you call MGTOW guys would call in, and he would get on their ass. So he's not doing nothing different than what his brand has always been. So don't let that faction dictate how you understand what his brand is, because that's just somebody taking what he does and then trying to make it their own. And that's what you call practicing something in bad faith. That's not how Kevin Samuels is coming. So y'all got to be able to differentiate the two. All right, let's see. Trade jobs such as mechanic, welders, and carpenters still pay more than all those liberal degree. Yeah, you're right, bro. You're right. And I think as a society, we got to stop shitting on blue collar workers, man. And then now blue collar work ain't for your boy. That's why I went to school. I got a master's degree, believe it or not. Hey, my uncles called me out of it a long time ago. Hey, they was working on engines and shit. I was like, y'all got it. I'm gonna keep working on basketball. But as Kevin Samuels points out, those are the people that build this society, man. Those are the people who lead to us having the functions of our toilets, the functions of electricity, the functions of water. And they are to be appreciated, man, because they're doing a job that your boy don't want to do. I don't want to do shit. I want to make money selling to people and then go home. That's it. and do this YouTube game, share a little bit of ideology. That's it. That's it. That's it. I don't want to do manual labor. But peace to those brothers who do that because it's needed. And they need to be celebrated too, man, because blue collar workers, one of my good friends, man, he died, Delio died about 2 months ago. But he had a plumbing business. He was very successful being a plumber, man. It's one of my junior college teammates, as a matter of fact, in Dallas at Mountain View College. He died about 2 months ago. But he had a very successful plumbing business. And when I first saw him posting that shit on Facebook some years ago, I was like, plumber? What the fuck you doing to be a plumber? And I saw, man, he had his own business. He was thriving and succeeding. And I remember going to his pad right before I moved to LA. Dude was shit. He living upper crust Dallas, man, in Midtown Dallas, like doing his thing. I was like, damn, plumbing bring that? And that's why I learned to respect the profession. We all think of plumbers, fat ass dude, butt crack showing and shit. Plumbers get it in, man. We gotta stop shitting on our blue collar workers of the world, man. They make this world run, man. And I got full respect, man. I hate that he's not here, to this day, to hear my respect for his craft. But that's how the world works, and it sucks. But yeah, man. Piece of that comment. All right, brothers say peace. Most Black Americans, especially women, are Christian. Marriage is a basic part of Christian culture. Why is getting married part of Black Christian culture anymore? Why is getting married not a part of Black Christian culture? Yeah, well, because great question, brother. And the reason why, in my opinion, is because Black liberalism, man. Black liberalism lends itself to you doing what you want with your body, doing what you want when you want to do it, no consequence to it. So how does marriage play into that? And if we want to go real Christian marriage, that is getting married to a virgin, breaking her hymen when her father has chosen you. And we know we way past that. That ain't up for debate. You understand what I'm saying? So we've delved from the traditional Christian constitution of what a marriage is. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not even a Christian anymore. I stopped being a Christian about 10 years ago. But I understand. No, let's back up. I tell this to my girl all the time, man. She tries to talk herself into still being a Christian, but she's not either. But there are people who follow the book in a very stringent fashion. And those people who do that, they don't consider themselves Christian. They follow Christ. So if you follow Christ, you understand the New Testament, Old Testament, all a part of the whole mix. And what I've kind of, surmised from that Christian movement is it's the New Testament that dominates. Everybody wants to preach prosperity. God gonna make a way, and not necessarily the discipline aspects of what the Bible teaches, because it's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable, man. And so if we preach more what that was, this society would not be what it is, man. It would look more like how the Middle East is, who follow the Quran, which they're a lot more stringent, which is, to me, again, why I don't do religion is because it's pretty much the same book as far as the tenets. It's just you follow what you observe is most people who follow the Quran, they follow it a lot more stringently than what we call Christians would, in my opinion. But y'all can have your opinions. That's just what I observe from that. All right, let's see. The word man is really short for manager. Black Americans don't have a support system for sustainable relationship. Yeah. We don't have a check and balance. And more importantly, we're scared to check people and put them in place. We are scared to have shame in our community. We just let people do what the fuck they want to do. Chicago, people offered each other in record numbers. We just kind of, that's unfortunate. Oh, man, prayers to Chicago. No, you need to start calling what it is. That's degeneracy, man. You need to start calling for what it is. Stop making excuses for people. And I do want to say that brother who lost his life, man, trying to run from the cops. Should a cop have shot him with the wrong hand? No, she should not. And I made a live about this on my Cliff Notes page. That was negligent rather, on her part. And she deserves to go through the proper protocols with that. But at the same time, when is it okay to break off from the cops and run into your car? When does that make sense? I know what y'all gonna say. The 61-year-old dude did it a week later. And here's the deal. You are leaving your life in the hands of a poorly trained cop. How does that make sense? And I'm only saying this. Hoop Jog only tell you this. Hove did that because I went through that. I don't want you to go through that. I literally have had been threatened by a cop to be shot in 2010 over a noise complaint, which I did not commit. So I was face first on the concrete, and I thought about running because I was like, man, because I had a warrant, traffic ticket warrant, but I thought about getting up and running. I'm glad I didn't, because if I got up and ran, I would have put some racist ass cop in a position to shoot me. Now, Tennessee versus Gardner says you cannot shoot a fleeing felon. But how many times have we seen that play out in real life? You understand what I'm saying? So are you willing to test legislation and make a poorly trained cop make a split-second decision and risk your life for that? Nah. So I sat my ass on that carpet. I had them talk to me like a dog with a gun pointed to me like I had committed some major crime when a noise complaint was we responded to. But they pulled up. They saw a parking lot of 5 black dudes, which we all college educated. We all, pretty much all my frat brothers was outside. They didn't care about that. They rolled up on 5 black dudes for a noise complaint, and they went into trigger mode. You understand what I'm saying? So when that's the case, I cannot control what their biases are before they showed up and saw me. What I can control is me putting myself in the least position to be, another hashtag. You understand what I'm saying? And I can bring people on this live right now that can corroborate this story. Just not some made up shit for YouTube. So I'm only saying it because I lived that. What that brother did, he put himself in position to be killed, and that's what happened. You don't break off from no cop and jump in your car and try to ride off. Because let's just say he successfully did that. Right? He ran to a pole and died. The narrative would still be, oh, well, cops forced a black man off the road. No, he chose to put his life in jeopardy, and that's what happened. So when we start holding ourselves to a higher standard, we understand the genesis of the problem. Are the cops a problem? Absolutely. That's not for debate. Cops, to me, are kids with badges and guns. To me, I don't hold cops in high esteem. When they come to my job asking for discounts for being a cop, I don't give a shit about that. I don't. You probably shouldn't bring up your cop because I'm not no Blue Lives Matter kind of motherfucker like that. That means nothing to me. However, if we're going to raise up a community of conscious beings, we got to start explaining to them how to deal with police. And I think his bad decision cost him his life. And that's just real shit. And I heard he did some crazy shit before that, but I want to fact check that before I put that out as fact. But, I heard that that's not the most upstanding dude, but that's neither here nor there. But I'll wait until I actually research that thoroughly before I put that information out. So I don't want to be putting out fake news. All right. So let's say rap God varied. That's why I even tell friends who are just first generation third world countries that you are richer than us. Yes, you got your culture to fall back on. Absolutely. Hey, man, y'all cooking in this comment section. I gotta give y'all props, man. Y'all doing y'all thing for real. All right, let's see. TV facts. I always say what you mean. Marriage is a business. Yes, marriage is a corporate merger of 2 companies, usually 2 broke companies. 2 broke companies coming together, bro. That's marriage. 2 broke companies coming together for the most part. And that's why when it parts ways, when it disavow, money is at the behest of that. Money is at the behest of that. Y'all gotta understand this, man. You gotta be with the right one. How my man's big boy said, you better choose the right one to pick the kiddies up. That's real shit, man. That's real shit. That's real shit. You gotta understand this is a corporate merger. So you gotta pick the right one, man. Are you gonna be upside down and inside out, man? See, RGR, man. I'm gonna start using that. I appreciate you, J&J. All right. I thought liberal was the way to go. Now I understand that both arguments, and I don't like the base of either party. Guess I'm a swing voter now. And that's real, man. So that's the first stage of you understanding how the game is. The game is played off of binary thinkers, meaning this or that, this or that, this or that. When I'm at work, the way I'm successful, I make you pick between 2 things. So when you come into my job, there are a litany of products to pick. But when it's time to make a decision, this or that. You're picking one. Because why is that? You've been taught to think that way your whole life. You've been taught to think this or that. Which one you want? Because people in general are bad decision makers. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You're a bad decision maker. Sorry. That's why in politics, they feed you 2 guys. They know you're not a good decision maker. You know what I'm saying? So that is a smart premise to get people to make a stringent decision. So, you know, and I grew up like you, brother. Like I thought that being liberal was the only way to be. Like that's all I knew. Like it only made sense. They were compassionate. They were looking out for black people the way I perceived it. Like why else would I think any different? Well, no. As a kid, I liked George Bush one. As a kid, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't like Bill Clinton. I never liked Bill Clinton. Something about Bill Clinton never struck me right. And as I learned more about Bill Clinton, him passing that 94 crime bill, Bill Clinton is probably one of the worst presidents we ever had, man. And y'all gotta understand this, man. Kamala Harris is an offshoot of that. Joe Biden is an offshoot of that faction. Bill Clinton's the worst. I never liked Bill Clinton, man. And everybody was, I remember being a kid, just, I don't know why I like Bush. I didn't like him. And I'm not saying Bush is a great guy. I mean, you know, rest in peace, Bush, but I never liked Bill Clinton. And I could not articulate I was like, what, second grade when it became into my consciousness about Bill Clinton. I couldn't give a good reason why. I didn't like that dude, man. I didn't like how black people gave him such a pass. I'm like, this dude white. Like, why is he getting such a pass? Because he played a fucking saxophone? And then you hear comedians, you know, y'all look on Comic View. Talking about Bill Clinton, first black president. He smoked weed, he played saxophone, he get head in the White House. I'm like, nigga, you think so lowly of your race that smoking weed, getting head, and playing a saxophone makes you black? What? That makes you black? And it kind of this kind of bleeds into that Michael Rappaport shit that I made the video on. You think so lowly of yourself that you let this motherfucker have a barbecue invite? Michael Rappaport ain't never been no dude to me. He's just like a little, what do they call him in New York? He's a shyster, man. Like to me, I know the word for him. To me, Michael Rappaport's a bitch ass. He's a bitch ass. But you know, it don't matter if you're a bitch ass or not. If you speak in the affirmative for black, you get the pass. You get the invite to the barbecue. And I don't do that shit. I don't give out passes like that, man. Just because you talk a good game, you can talk that black experience shit. I don't give a fuck. So we don't even have a culture. So you're playing off our emotions. And I've always had ability to see through white dudes who do that shit. So I just never and I've never been a detractor of Michael Rappaport. I think he's funny, but then this last little thing with KD, he's done. He's done with me. He's done. He's such a shyster, man. Like you do all this shit talking, and then you run acting like you are. How can I put it? Like you're a victim when the shit hit the fan. I'm good. Nope. All right, Megan. What up, Megan? Hoop Jargon, a member in the building. Agree. I think you was agreeing with my previous point. Appreciate that. J cracking up. Bill is a slick white guy. Oh, most definitely. If you look up Bill's story, I think like one or two of his ex-girlfriends got off once he started getting on that political spectrum. I wonder what they had to say about him. Now, I don't want to go to, Tim Ford hat zone, but Bill Clinton, the Clintons, what people call Hillary Clinton Hillary? That actually is a thing. Like people who associate with them die. Y'all look that shit up, man. Look up why people would call her Hillary when she's never really served a real political seat as far as being vice president, president, or whatever. Look up why the Clintons have that associated with killing people. Look that up on your own time. Let's see. Rap God says our comedians back then were buck dancers. Oh yeah, because guess what? For you to get put on, man, you had to be down with the program, man. They don't make these people who we see as celebrities or at the vanguard of these movements. You don't get there just on your own merit. You get there because somebody backing you. It's not because they financially backing you. It's because they're given the clemency or the okay to have your shit be put out there. So I would say people to watch out for it right now. Lil Nas X. He moving up that ladder. Meg Thee Stallion moving up that ladder. Now with goddamn, I was calling B.O.B. That's not what I want to say. What's the dude who wore the dress, man? God damn it, I can't think of his name. I always confuse him for B.O.B., but that's not who I'm talking about. Shit. What's this dude's name? I just made a video about it. I can never think of his name of rapid recall. All right, let me see. I gotta go to my page now. Let me just climb that dress on. Kid Cudi. So Kid Cudi is another you gotta watch for, man. Bro, you gotta be put on. Yeah, there you go, Kid Cudi. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. So it's like, yo, man, you gotta understand, man. It's a lot of foot. Me living in LA, it's like you see it, man. It's like it's so much that goes into people going. And man, let me say this real quick, man. If y'all not subscribed to my pages, man, please do that. I know mainly you probably on Hoop Jargon, man. Sub to the page, man. I'm out here going. I ain't gonna lie, I thought this would be like a 30-minute video. But I feel like I love the engagement. I love y'all down with what I'm doing. So I'm gonna keep talking. All right, let's see. Bush was the godfather of neocons, former CIA director to boot. Cheney's even worse. Oh, yeah. Bush was one of the heads of the CIA. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, okay. Y'all ready for some mind blowage? In my opinion, Osama bin Laden, well, I mean, it's not an opinion. He was CIA related. Y'all got to know this shit. So that's why when they killed him, they dumped his body into the water. Like, that makes no sense. If this dude was America's public enemy number one, when you want his head, like you bring him here and you show that you caught him and you imprison him, because we don't do the chop your head off thing. We do more or less the, put you in jail forever kind of thing. So America, who does not do anything from a ritual standpoint, as far as the public consciousness is concerned, we don't do like, how can I put it? Symbolic things as far as the public consciousness is concerned. All of a sudden we give him this respectful, waterlogged funeral and throw his body in. Come on, man. Stop it. Stop playing, man. So if y'all watch Snowfall, you'll see how easy it is to be CIA initiated if you are a beneficiary of the grand scheme. If y'all watch the show, the right person vouch for you, you become part of CIA. So if y'all watching Snowfall, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see. The Clintons had a alleged relationship with Epstein. Well, it ain't alleged. Bill Clinton got his name on the flight record going to Epstein's island many times. So it's not even alleged at this point. That's just real shit. That's irrefutable fact. that's irrefutable fact. Okay, Hillary with her black saying, yeah, Hillary Clinton's, you know what? She's one of the worst politicians ever because she's so disingenuous and it's so easy to see through it. When she said she kept the hot sauce in her bag, I'm like, oh, God. But let me say this, black people, they think that lowly of you. They think that they can say these little taglines and you buy into them. Y'all remember like when Hillary was running, Bill Clinton was in Harlem promoting her, and this black woman, I give black woman all the props for this. She pressed him real hard about his 94 crime bill. I think that there was in a bodega. She pressed him real hard. You see everybody talking, chill, man, back up. This Bill Clinton, chill out. Nah, she was in his ass. He ended up apologizing for it. Because he knows. These people are schmoozers, man. These people are schmoozers. And I'm glad she pressed him like that because she got to know that now you held accountable on some faction that we don't all love you. You're a clown. You're a clown. And I'm glad he got to hear it face to face instead of through an article. He got to hear it straight up in the Raj form in that bodega. I forget what borough that was in New York. But yeah, he got pressed on that shit. I think that's a good thing. UIP says facts. TB Young Thug. All right, let's see. So the liberal elite upper middle libs are married. The elite ignore the BS and build wealth and melanin and social status comes with marriage. Why do boy, you was cooking, sir? Man, you cooking, homie. Yes. So and that is called what you call the hidden hand, bro. The hidden hand is when you put all these ideologies out. Oh, let me step back. You know who does that? Beyonce and Jay-Z. They put out this entropy that like they got this chaotic marriage. They've been married since what? 2005 or some shit like that? 2004? 03? They've been married a long time. How many single woman anthems has Beyonce put out in that time? So they getting paid off your misery. Cause she talking all this shit and she made lemonade after the cheating shit. Listen, man, y'all listen to me real good. And that level of affluence, notoriety, fame, as it were, they do what the fuck they want to do as far as monogamy is concerned. That shit is out the window. Monogamy is a modern Western construct. Everywhere in the world, man, most people understand that you can you can do what you want to do. Sexual fluidity is not a big deal. That's why you see with the Jada Pinkett and Will Smith thing, it's not a big deal. This is what you do when you're on that level. So when you compare that to Beyonce's story, and that's Solange, you know, she's a hot wire. So I'm sure with that elevator incident, that's what she was doing. But Beyonce know what time it is. She know Jay-Z out doing this thing. It's one of the most powerful men in the world. In the world. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Appreciate the being corrected. 2008. Appreciate that, brother. So listen, Jay-Z, one of the most popular dude in the world, most powerful men in the world, rather. That dude can have bras if he want to, man. And Beyonce understands that. There you go. UYP said it best. You need an agreement. And that level of understanding is an agreement. And in the same breath, Beyonce gets the clemency to do her own thing. Just don't be sloppy. Don't bring diseases, chaos, confusion to our household. Tell me who you fucking with. I tell you who I'm fucking with, and it's all good. It only gets embarrassing when it slips out and you lose that proportion of monogamy. That's when it's bad for the brand. That's why Will and Jada have to do that little bullshit ass red table shit, because you messed the brand up. That's why Kevin Hart, when he got caught cheating, he had to go and act like he's so contrite. Kevin Hart still fucking them hoes. LA is, if you are rich in LA, you have access to the best of the best of the best of the best. You understand me? Before I got with my girl, I remember being at LAX, bro. I came back from Dallas. And I was just chilling at the airport. This chick who's in the industry, man, I looked her up on IG. Well, we IG friends, you know, I don't fuck with her like that. Motherfucking friends with Tatiana Ali, Eddie Winslow, I forget his real name. It's another blue checker. Like, she is friends with these people. She got on me. I'm just looking for my taxi to get home. Motherfucker was pressing me tough. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, I dealt with her, whatever. And once I saw the crazy, I was out. But the point I'm making is, if you are a person who presents himself to be halfway somebody, I ain't nothing but a salesman, you know, making good money in LA, but I ain't no millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Imagine being a millionaire in this town. You can get what the fuck you want. You can get what the fuck you want. And be it as it may, your one woman ain't enough. If you want the top half of 1% earners in this world and you live in Los Angeles, come on, man. You get what the fuck you want out of life. And I think we are so ignorant to this premise because we think monogamy just is the end all be all. When that is a new concept, that is a relatively new concept. You can't, I don't want to go too far into that, but let me just say, in a lot of places in the world, man, it's not a big deal to have multiple wives. It's not a big deal. Akon has multiple wives because why is that? He's from Africa, man. He understands, like, that's the culture, and you're scripturally backed. That's the caveat. You are scripturally backed to have that shit. Ain't that a motherfucker? Polygamy is what most rich, wealthy men practice. Not monogamy. Exactly. Monogamy is a broke people's premise. Polygamy is for guys who can afford to take care of multiple women. Now, I'm not against it. I just don't think I have it's all enough dealing with one woman. Let me put it that way. I don't have the mental space to have a polygamous cult. Man, maybe one day. I doubt it, but that ain't for me. And I think it's good for you brothers to know what you made of, what you built for, and what can you afford. Can you afford, you know how stressful it can be dealing with one woman. Can you deal with multiple women? And as I started out in, can you lay the law down in such a faction where you got multiple women under your tutelage? Can you handle it? And what I assert is most people can't. Most people can't. Let's just be real. Let's just be real, man. So I just wish a lot more people were more astute about what this life that we live is really about and what we really can get out of it, because this is what we got to pass down to our next seed. And I think to bring it back to a head, what the discussion was about, I think it's good that Kevin Samuels is at least ripping the Band-Aid off this gaping wound that we have with pair bonding and relationships in our community, and at least just talking to women in a fashion they've never been talked to before. And that's the way, for the brothers in the chat, if you ever had a coach playing sports, you've been told to deal with it this way. It's like, yo, you get down or you lay down. That's it. You're not going to be on this basketball team getting chance after chance after chance. Nah, either you're down with it or you can move around. You can go to art class, and coaches used to do that shit in high school. Like, you can go join the band, shit like that, trying to emasculate you a little bit. But that's the world we live in, man. And once we grow up as a people and understand that this life that we live ain't for play. This is real shit going on. You got to get our head in the game, man. We can't think that people owe us their sympathy or their affinity. They don't owe us none of that shit. They don't owe us that, man. And just like how Kevin Samuels say, you trying to date, dudes you trying to date don't owe you that shit. You got to understand the world for what it is. And that's what, Hoop Jargon telling you. That's how I deal with people. That's how I deal with situations. I don't bitch. I don't, because what is it going to benefit me to be bitching? I got to just understand what's at stake, deal accordingly, and try to thrive and survive and live in this thing we call life, man. And that's it. So next Sunday, I'll catch y'all. Me and DJ, shout out to DJ Ron Cut Truth. We're going to do a thing about Deion Sanders tomorrow, 10 a.m., I believe we're doing. So y'all tune into that. New media in the building. And so y'all tune in, man. So, and I got to give DJ props. DJ, so just a teaser video. Teaser to the video. DJ talked about Jalen. I forget Jalen's last name. The quarterback for Jackson State is planning to transfer because he knows that Shedeur Sanders, which is Deion Sanders' son, is going to start next year. And not only that, he actually got his spot taken by the backup quarterback. And DJ did call that on the live we did like almost 2 months ago. So we're going to talk a little more about that, man. So we've been neglecting the HBCU experience. I'm going to try to dual cast it. I'll probably just have an audio on here. So if you want to hop on DJ's channel primarily, that's cool. And we're going to rock out on that, man. So appreciate y'all who support the Hoop Jargon movement. I'm just going to tell the truth, man. And please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to drop my other channels in here too. I'm trying to run it up for 2021. I appreciate y'all for patronizing the page. I'm going to try to keep myself accountable by keep putting content out. Sometimes I don't feel like doing it, to be frank with y'all. But I need to put that shit out if y'all want to listen, man. And I want to build. I want y'all opinions to be said during these. And that's moving forward, man. That's just the long and short of it. So until next time, peace.